YouTube gaming channels burn brightly but often fade fast, tied to fleeting popularity of games they cover. But few transcend this cycle, like the Man, a veteran creator who evolved from a Halo channel to a variety gaming channel, despite controversies including 2 secretly sponsored gaming reviews that dramatically dented his reputation. Man owned up, made amends, and set a new standard for creator accountability, donating an obscene amount of money from a Delta Force review to charity and promising to prioritize passion over profit. He turned mistakes into lessons. His journey proves that redemption is always possible when our character triumphs over greed, inspiring us to aim higher in our lives. This is the redemption of the Man. Every single niche of YouTube gaming can be described as a flame that burns bright, hot, and goes out very fast. What I mean is that gaming channels tend to have a lifespan. They typically only live for as long as the games they're attached to are popular. It's actually really easy to start a successful gaming channel if you start while a game is growing in popularity. Trust me, I would know. And when the game isn't popular anymore, the viewers tend to leave. But every now and then, a gaming channel will manage to break free of a game's niche and go onto gaming channel utopia, variety content. It's what every gaming channel aspires to do. One of them, who I've watched for like 7 to 8 years now, goes by the name of the Man. Genuinely one of the most unappreciated success stories in YouTube gaming. I subscribed to him a while back when I was like 13, when he was a Halo YouTuber, and have watched him religiously ever since. If you're not familiar with him, he makes game reviews on why certain games are good or bad, though his most public event to date was his feud with another YouTuber, Quantum TV, which ended up getting Man's channel temporarily demonetized. It was an awful situation, but my goat came out on top in the end, and I'm pretty sure Quantum ended up getting banned. But that's not Man's only controversy, and not the one we're talking about today. See, Man in the past was at a continuous problem with sponsored videos. Every big YouTuber with a brain is going to take sponsorships. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, ad revenue's basically pennies, but a few of Man's ads were a bit more than just the typical "before we start, this video was sponsored by" type of thing. The first Man sponsorship controversy was a few years ago when he was paid to make a review on the massive failure that is Payday 3. In this video, he hyped the hell out of the game, talking about how great it was, how he had like no problems with it. He yapped out its social features for a bit too, which was super ironic because when the game actually launched, the online multiplayer barely worked. This game's actual launch was horrendous, and it's the reason you don't hear anyone talk about it anymore. There was no cyberpunk-styled redemption arc for this game. All that we got left with was Man with a ton of egg on his face for tricking people into thinking this game was a good game, and he did not handle the criticism that was rightfully given to him well at first. Being extremely defensive about why he said what he said about the game, eventually he kind of apologized for it, but the lesson wasn't completely learned until very recently. Not terribly long ago, he did another sponsored review for the game Delta Force, and after rewatching that review, it was a lot more tame than the Payday 3 review. I mean, granted, 90% of it was glazing, but for the most part, it's a game worth glazing. He did call out stuff like the monetization system for being garbage, showing that despite being a sponsored review, he had creative control over the video. However, and this is a very big however, he did not once say that the whole video was a sponsored review. He put it in the description to technically disclose that the review was sponsored. That is shady, and a real fool me once, fool me twice situation right there. And just like the Payday situation before, people got pissed. Rightfully so. There's a reason these companies are sponsoring YouTubers to do reviews. It's because they figured out we trust an individual YouTuber more than we do a big organization like IGN. But just like big companies, people can switch up on their values for the right price, and while in Man's head he could have thought he was doing the right thing for calling out things like the monetization system that he didn't like, it was always about more than just being honest. It was about transparency. He nailed the honesty part, but honesty doesn't mean anything if you don't have transparency to go with it. No one's gonna believe you're telling the truth if you're not telling the full truth. The situation doesn't end badly like the Payday nightmare. This time my goat proved why he was the best and learned from the situation. Man made a response video where he fully owned up to being wrong for not disclosing the sponsorship properly, saying he took the sponsorship because they gave him creative control and allowed him to criticize things he didn't like. He also got a bit personal, talking about how YouTube went from feeling like a childhood dream to something he just did for money, and he just wants to feel like it's his dream job again. And for that reason, he isn't going to be doing those types of sponsored reviews anymore. Now, all that stuff is just talk. We see YouTubers do stuff where they apologize for doing something wrong, and once everything dies down, just hop right back on their BS. We saw this very recently with another YouTuber, Some Ordinary Gamers, where he apologized for turning into a slop channel and said he wasn't going to make that type of content anymore, then 3 days ago drops a video talking about that Elon Musk Asmongold situation. Not my goat Man though. What does this guy do to show that he is making up for doing something wrong? He donated all of the money he made from the Delta Force review to a charity helping kids in hospitals get access to video games. Now, how much money was this? $40,000. Now, I'm a firm believer in actions speaking louder than words, but like, oh my lord, dude could have given like $250,000 quarter of that to charity, and it still would have been much farther than the majority of other YouTubers would have gone. Those are the actions of someone who feels bad for what they did and genuinely wants to do better. He's also holding an $8,000 fan art contest, and you know he's going above and beyond when the $8,000 fan art contest isn't the biggest thing he's doing to show that he's changed. He also promises to commit heavier to his older style content because that's what makes him happy, and good for him, good for his fans too. Everyone wins here. Let's talk a little more about that $40,000 thing. So if he got that much from one single 18-minute sponsored review, and he promised to never take another one again to preserve his integrity, God only knows how much money he is turning down in order to be the best YouTuber he can possibly be. Actman set the bar to a new standard we have never seen before when it comes to YouTuber apologies. In a good way, I mean, not like ukulele playing. And it's something we can all learn a valuable lesson on. Yes, you included. It is never too late to turn yourself around and do the right thing. Just because we all might trip and stumble and do something wrong every now and then doesn't mean that our poor choices need to be our defining moments. If you want to be a good person and you're willing to go the distance for it, then redemption is by all means possible. Actman could have walked away with his money and just kept on taking these sponsored reviews and making his bag and been better off because of it. But he chose good character over personal greed. Sure, it took him a bit to really figure it out, but because he did eventually figure it out, the world is quite literally a better place because of it. If we all try to act a little bit more like the Actman, just imagine how great the world could be. But anyways guys, that's it from me. Thank you for watching my hope post about one of the best YouTubers on this platform. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe and help get me out of low sub purgatory. Alright, for real, that's it from me. See ya.